So I've gotten a bunch of requests recently about my braces and what it's like to have braces being a little older and, living more as an adult with braces versus like what it would feel like living as braces with as like a 15-year-old. And so I decided to do an update on my braces and also kind of like a little, these are things I've learned, tips, that kind of thing. So yeah, I hope this is informative and you guys like it. So first I want to tell you guys the story of how I got my braces because it's actually a really amazing story. When I was younger, my parents didn't have the money to get me braces, so I never had braces when I was younger, and my teeth needed it pretty bad. It was one of the things I was actually the most like conscious about, like of my body. Like my hair was a bad thing, but I usually could just pull it up and kind of ignore it. But my teeth made me really self-conscious. Like I didn't like how they looked. They stuck out a lot. There was a big space in between. Like it was just really bad, but I just thought it was going to be kind of something I was just going to have to deal with until I got braces, if I ever got braces. So when I finally reached the age of about almost 19, we were able to finally get me braces, which was amazing. Now, the thing was is that our insurance, if I turned 19, would no longer pay for the braces, and it was like a few months before I turned 19, and I hadn't even gone to the orthodontist to find out if I could get them or not. Like basically the orthodontist has to say they're bad enough for like the insurance to pay for, because there's certain like qualifications you have to have. So I went in, I got the molds done, the x-rays, so they could see if like I needed them bad enough. That takes 12 weeks to get like confirmed and stuff. So we were like coming down the line to 19, and I was like, oh my gosh, I had to get my wisdom teeth pulled. I had to get another tooth pulled. I did get my wisdom teeth pulled before they were officially said that I had to get them, because I had to get those done either way, but they were able to put that under the braces afterward. But I didn't want to go and get like another tooth pulled, like if I wasn't gonna get my braces, because like that would have been just really weird. So we were like trying to get it pushed through, and like it literally takes like 12 weeks. So my mom finally called them and was like, so is she approved? And they're like, oh yeah, we didn't tell you. And we're like, so I was coming home from a retreat, and my mom calls me. She's like, hi, your braces are approved. Oh, and by the way, you're getting your tooth pulled tomorrow. And I'm like, yay. That was kind of an intense experience. The next day I got my tooth pulled. They didn't put me to sleep, they just numbed it. That was like really crazy. Basically what the thing was is I had to get my tooth pulled before. I was in a Shakespeare play that year. We were doing As You Like, and I was one of the main characters. My tooth had to be healed before I could get my braces, but I didn't want to get my braces like a week before the show, because like you don't talk the same once you get braces on, and you have to like figure out how to talk again basically, because it's like, nah, there's metal in my mouth. So I had to get my tooth pulled before the play, and then the play was like the beginning of May, and then my birthday was like 2 weeks after. So like we were like, oh my god, we have to figure out how we're gonna get this done. I got my tooth pulled, and we're like, okay. So we got the tooth pulled and we scheduled my braces. This is amazing. They were booked solid for putting on braces, but we got a call from them and they're like, oh, someone canceled on the 11th, do you want it, of May? And I was like, oh my gosh, it's right after the play, but it's like right before my birthday. My birthday's on the 16th. So it was an absolute miracle that I even got them on in time, because they're like crazy expensive. Now at this point I was almost 19, and so a lot of people have asked me like, oh well, you were older. But see, the thing is, when you get them on when you're older, especially if you've been wanting them for so long, I found that I appreciated them a whole lot more, and I was way more dedicated to having them on because I wanted them so bad. Like when you're like 11 or 12, you're just kind of like, oh, I don't want them, because I don't think you really see as much of the benefit. But at my age, I was just like, oh my god, get them on, it's awesome. So I really actually appreciated them, and I'm one of those weird people who actually thinks braces are really attractive. So I was like, sweet. I got them on, and I went to cleanup day on my birthday with my braces on, and it wasn't on my birthday. It was a few days before. But I had to get my braces on. We went to cleanup day for the theater, and I walk in and it was like, oh my god, you got braces. But everyone was like, whoa, it's so weird. Like, you really look good with braces. Like, I just had one of those faces that like braces. But I think one of the biggest things is I was confident about it. Like, I was perfectly fine with having braces. Like, I was just like, I'm not going to let this, bother me. Like, why would I? I think of it more as just cosmetic surgery than like, oh, I have, some sort of nerdy quote-unquote thing in my mouth. Like, I was just like, oh yeah. Like, all my friends would be like, in pictures they'd be like, I don't want to show my teeth, and I'm just like, and so basically, like, what I find is most of the time, like when people are either overweight or have braces or there's something they don't like about themselves, typically what people notice is not so much the actual thing, it's if someone has a lack of confidence. Because if someone's like, oh, people are going to notice that and they're going to be unattracted to it. However, if you know how to carry yourself and you just feel confident in who you are, even if you don't feel confident but you just put a smile on your face and you just walk down that street, people are going to not even notice, because they're going to go, wow, that person's so confident, they're so awesome. So for a lot of people who've asked me like how I go to like job interviews and stuff like that, I would just say go in confident. Most people aren't even going to notice, because like for instance, if they didn't even know you when you didn't have braces, they're just going to know you as, oh yeah, they had braces. They're probably not honestly going to even notice. Like they'll just be like, oh, that's that person. But if you're confident and like open, they'll be like, wow, that person, I'm attracted to that person. Not in a romantic way, I mean, but like they have confidence no matter what's going on for them. So that's a really good attribute to have in a person. So I would definitely suggest just kind of like, you know, stand up straight, smile, and people will like it. Like, it's probably going to bother you more than it's going to bother them, so I wouldn't worry about it. So a lot of people have been asking me, like, they'll message me and be like, oh, I'm getting mine on for, like, you know, 3-4 years. Like, is that a lot or whatever? And what I've come to notice is that people can have their braces on from anywhere between, like, a year and, like, 5 years, just depending on their lifestyle, how many times the braces break, because that can happen. I'm getting mine off in a couple months. I got mine on when I was 19. I'm getting mine off like a month before I turn 21. Actually, I think it's going to be in April. I'm really excited. But the thing with my teeth is, even though they had a lot of issues, mine weren't like crazy crooked. They just stuck out a lot and had some spaces. But also, I don't know why, but apparently my teeth move crazy fast. Like typically people do not stay on schedule. Like the orthodontist said, you know, if they think it's going to be like 2 years, it's probably going to be like 2.5 to 3 years. Like that's typically what it is. But I would come in every time, he'd be like, whoa, you're like on schedule. Because I remember when I was like, oh, how long is it going to be? He's like, well, it's like if everything goes like as planned, they'll be off in a year. And he's like, and it never does. But like every time I went in, he was like, oh my god, you're on schedule. Like he'd actually have people come over, because he'd be like, you guys have to see like how amazing her teeth are moving. And I'm like, this is weird. So I mean, like at one point my space came back in the middle because they took the rubber bands off like prematurely or whatever, and I was freaking out. So I went, I'm like, you gotta put them back in or whatever. So they're like, okay. I had a space between my teeth. They put the rubber bands on. By the time I got out to the car, the space was gone. That's how fast my teeth move. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm going with it because I'm like, yay. Okay, so I actually have to get this thing that not everyone has when they have braces. It's called a frenectomy. Now, people get this when they don't have braces, I believe, but basically what it is in between the two front teeth, there's a piece of skin. Like everyone has it, or it's part of the gums actually. And what it is it goes between your two front teeth. Now, most gums, when you get braces, they just compress together. Like that's how it works. Like that's why all the teeth move. But the problem is if you have this special thing in the front, it's more elastic. So if they release the pressure from the braces, the space comes back in between my two teeth. And that's kind of a problem because it won't ever close that space. So what I have to have done is I have to go and get that removed. I'm going to be getting that done before I get my braces off. Basically what they do is like they can put you out, but it's really only like a 15-minute surgery. So I'm just going to get numbed up and try to like ignore what's going on. But basically they're just going to remove the skin right here, and it goes all the way to the back, which is unusual. Like typically they don't even do that, but of course mine does. That's what a frenectomy is called. And so once that's removed, they will be able to, the gap between my teeth will be able to stay without the braces on. As you can see, it's currently not there. Yay! So I wanted to tell you guys a few tips and tricks that I've learned over the years, or a couple years since I got braces. A lot of orthodontists are like, they'll be like, you can't eat this, you can't eat this, you can't eat this, you know, no gummies, no bagels, no, like any of this stuff. And you know, when you first get on your braces, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna end up losing like 30 pounds because I can't eat half the things I want to eat. Now, I hate to say this because I shouldn't like be going against like the whole orthodontist thing, but I've talked to a lot of my friends about this as well, who have had braces and they find the same thing. So I'm just gonna let you guys know, and obviously you can do what you want. But what we've realized is it's not so much about what you eat, but how you eat it. For instance, like gummies, don't like rip them and do all this stuff with your teeth. Like at first, what I would do if I wanted to eat gummies, I just suck on them. So you get to eat them, but you're not like the thing is most of those foods that they say you shouldn't eat are either super super like hard and crunchy or gummy. Now the crunchy ones are a little more quote unquote dangerous because if you like break it off in your teeth, like it can pop off the brackets on your teeth, which is bad because not only does it hurt, it slows down the process of your teeth moving. So that's something you definitely want to stay away from. So if you know you're eating like a chocolate toffee or something like that, like one of those hard, crunchy, like peanut brittle kind of things, you just want to be really careful. I just suggest sucking on it because then you get the taste and all that, but then you don't have to like really freak out over like if they're gonna break. Now with gummies, I would suck on them or just be like careful because like the thing with sticky stuff is if it's really sticky, it will pull your brackets off your teeth. So what you want to do is just be really careful, chew it more slowly, like that kind of thing. Now, as for like hard vegetables and stuff like that, just cut it up. Like you don't want to be eating an apple, like a whole apple, but just like cut it into slices. Like things like that are better. So it's really just about being careful. A hard crust, that kind of thing. Just take it slow. You pretty much can eat anything. The only thing that ever quote unquote messed with my braces was I was actually eating a bagel and I ate it, and when my tooth was pulled, I had just a wire going over it, obviously because they weren't together yet, and I bit on it and it pulled the wire out like out to here. It was like this huge loop and I was like, oh my god. So I went back in the bathroom and I took a tweezer and like readjusted it back in. The orthodontist didn't even notice. Like I had said that I moved it, so like, oh no, it's all good. So that like freaked me out, but that was the only thing that happened. So it's really about how you eat it, not so much what you eat. So don't freak out when you hear that. Another thing that they say you can never ever 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 eat while having braces is gum. Now, I would agree with that to a point. Now actually my friend Derica's orthodontist actually suggested a certain type of gum for her because it helps with plaque buildup and stuff like that. And I wanted to eat gum like, you know, on the airplane so my ears wouldn't pop. So the gum that I would suggest, it's like the only one, and the reason it's okay is it's way less sticky than others. Like I've tried other ones, and it's just sticky and it's just like, ugh. By the way, don't try it. I was dared to do it for like 20 bucks. I never got that 20 bucks. I need to talk to Rian about that. Maybe it was 50 bucks. It was a good amount, and I only chewed it for like 2 minutes, but that's not the point. The point is that the one gum that I would suggest eating if you're gonna eat gum would be Trident. It comes in the package and it comes like the little rectangle like gums, and those actually are really good. So if you're like super addicted to gum, and it's the same thing, like just be careful about what like how you eat it. But that actually does not stick to the braces. So even though they say not to, I'm gonna say if you have to, go for Trident. A few things that are really important like to do is the keeping your teeth brushed and, you know, just making sure your mouth stays clean. And the reason that's important, and they don't really say it at the orthodontist, is that if food builds up around the braces, when they take it off, like if it sits there, there's going to be a ring of, like, decayed tooth because, and that's, like, really gross. It can actually ruin your teeth. So you really want to keep your teeth brushed. So 2 things that I found absolutely amazing because, like, when you're out and stuff, and also, I mean, if you have braces on already, you'll know this. If you don't have braces on, you will find this out. The one real bear about braces is how much food gets stuck in your teeth. Oh my gosh. When my friends who don't have braces, they're like, do I have something stuck in my teeth? Like, it freaks me out. I'm like, girl, you have no idea what you're talking about until you get braces. Because seriously, I could have a second course just out of the food that gets stuck in my braces. It's disgusting. So, you know, you're always like freaking out. So the one thing that I would definitely suggest for everyone who has braces is get yourself a portable toothbrush. These things are like $1.25. They come with a little toothpaste and they just open up like this. It's great. I keep this in my purse. It is a lifesaver. Like, I can't even tell you. So, you know, if you're out at a restaurant or on a date or anything, you just be like, because you can have the excuse of, oh, I have my braces. I need to make sure they keep clean. So you don't have to be like creepy about it. But after a dinner date or whatever, I just get up, I go to the bathroom, I brush my teeth, I look great. It's awesome. So I would definitely suggest that. And then the second thing I would suggest are these are called interdental brush. These are actually, I think, made not necessarily for people with braces, but it comes in a package like this. I got this for like $1.50 at like the Five and Below store. But basically it's a little brush and it looks like that. I don't know if you can see that. You can actually see better with the shadow. This is great because if you don't want to have a sink nearby or you can't brush your teeth, basically you can just like clean out between, and this works wonders. So I would definitely suggest those. I'd even suggest those for people without braces, but that's really cool. And it comes with like a little cover. I don't have it here because the cover is on the one in my purse. But that is a really awesome tool. And like 10 come in the package. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but who cares? Also, the other thing was someone asked me if the pain gets better, because obviously when you first get your braces on, your mouth is like, oh, so much pain. It like hurts up into your eyes and all stuff. First of all, that only lasts, like the longest it lasts, I would say, is when you first get your braces on. And the best thing you can do is just eat cold, soft foods and use Tylenol. That's good. Tylenol is very helpful. And within 3-4 days, that will go away. Now, the thing that will cause more pain when you first get them on is your lips are going to get super, super sore because they're not used to being up against the metal. And so they're just it's going to sting and it's going to be raw. So I would definitely, if your orthodontist doesn't give it to you, ask about it. It's called wax, and it literally is just like, almost like candle wax. And it's soft, and you just put it on each of the little brackets, and that, is hurting, like if it's hurting down here, just put it over here. You don't have to put it on the whole thing. You just put a little dot on each single one. It just gives it like a barrier, so you can do that. So some people wear those at night. Just don't use them while you're eating, because you will end up eating wax. Believe me, I've done it. It's not fun, because sometimes I'll like forget I have one like in the back or whatever. So just don't do that. It's not gonna kill you, but it's just like, oh, I just ate wax. Also, if wires are sticking out in the back, like typically they'll cut them pretty short, but if your teeth are moving, they'll start sticking out. You can put wax on that too, and that's really, really helpful. So that's when it first starts. After like 3 or 4 days, the achiness will go away. The rubbing will last a few weeks, and I hate to say it, but it's gonna hurt. However, once your lips get used to it after a couple weeks, it doesn't hurt anymore. No matter how many times you tighten it, the rubbing, your lips will just get used to it. They'll kind of callous. It won't feel like they're callous, but that's what it will be. I don't even feel mine anymore, to be honest. So that's not a really big deal. Every time you get tightened, they will hurt, but typically it's only going to hurt for like a day or so. Like when you get them tightened, the longest it's going to hurt is when you first get them on. Because like all that tension, it's like, oh my gosh, but your mouth kind of gets used to it. And also once they're more moved into the places they're supposed to be, it's less tension, so it won't hurt as much. Like for me, I don't even it's maybe the first day. Within the second day, I'm like, I don't even notice anymore. It might be a little sore if I like eat something like really hard, but other than that, it's pretty good. Also, another cool trick I use is before going to the orthodontist, like before you go in, just take a Tylenol. So by the time it kicks in is when like it starts getting sore. Like that's also really good. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else. If you guys have any more questions, definitely ask me below. I would love to answer your questions. I want to do a shout out to my orthodontist. It's Dr. Hiller in Laconia. He is amazing, and he's a really great orthodontist. He really knows what he's doing, and my teeth just look so great, and I'm so happy. And after this, I'm going to put a little slideshow of like the stages of my teeth, what they looked like before, what they looked like with the braces, and now what they're looking like. And then I will do an update when I get them off, I promise. So yeah, I think that's everything. Like I said, if you have any questions, ask below. Please like and subscribe to my channel for updates and things like that. And all my links to my Facebook page and everything are down below. I hope this was helpful, and I love you guys so much. Mwah! Bye!